What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. So, I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can, but I am very excited to share with you my first podcast that I'm doing with a friend. I've uploaded a couple before that are kind of a monologue based thing, and you've probably, if you're a subscriber, you've seen some of my reaction based content, notably probably the Taylor Swift stuff. So, I have wanted to do wanted to do this for some time. And I feel like if you appreciate my content, especially the more conversationally based side of it, which I definitely get into when my more analytical side comes out when I'm sharing my perspective or my reaction to Taylor Swift content and so on. I feel like if you enjoyed that, then you would probably enjoy some of this podcast type content. So, this is me talking with my best friend. We get into some interesting topics like football and tennis and the culture around those sports, and also why I think football is a better spectator sport than tennis, even though I'm such a tennis guy. It's kind of hurtful to admit that in a way, but it was just something that occurred to me when I was watching a little bit of the Super Bowl. Really not as a football guy. I can't stress that enough. But yeah, that was a fun conversation. We talked about board games and how they managed to stay relevant, even though video games these days are so good and popular. It's just kind of crazy that that's even possible, right? We talk about silly stuff like how apples have way too much wax on them. There's even a moment in this podcast where I kind of make my friend go up and like scrape an apple with a knife just to see for himself what I'm talking about. So, I mean, it's a really fun conversation. I love talking to this guy, and every now and then I just have conversations where I wish I could just share with people or I could relive just for my own sake. But this is one of those conversations, and it's kind of in a podcast form. It's my first one, so it's a really special moment for me to share that with you guys, and I hope you appreciate it. Let me know. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the podcast.
All right. I guess we could just start here. That's fine. I was gonna say that I really want to grab an apple and then come back, but that'd be so annoying. Maybe it's more fun if I
Please.
just sit here and have
I
to deal with
cannot.
wanting one but can't have one.
I have apples. I can match you apple for apple. Like we
So,
can do this.
so you're
We
going
can
through
go
the same
down.
thing, in other words.
I'm not hungry, but I will eat an apple despite you.
Oh. I thought you were
Not
gonna go into a
hungry.
Rick and Morty reference there, hungry for apples or something, no?
Is that a Rick and Morty reference?
It is. Hungry
Is it?
for apples? It's that one where he's dreaming.
Oh,
Or not
I was
dreaming, he's
thought
like
we
in a
were.
simulation world.
I was referencing that board game that I don't think I've ever played. That's
Oh,
called
apples to apples?
yeah.
I don't know what it
It's like
is. Is it anything
from
like Cards Against Humanity or something? I don't know.
yeah, it is
Hmm.
like from apples to apples,
Do you
from
think
crust to crust,
do
something
you
like
think
that.
board games are more popular now than they were like 10 or 15 years ago? Right? Because like video games came out. I mean, video games came out a while ago, but
I
video
mean,
games got good when Halo and stuff came out. Like you had real game systems with good
would you
graphics.
consider would you consider Dungeons and Dragons a board game?
Oh, what would it be if it's not a board game?
Like a paper game? I don't
A
know.
paper game? Isn't paper just a
Like,
board?
is the hardness of the paper what defines it as a board
This is
game?
so dumb. Is a square a rectangle?
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck.
Are
I
papers
mean,
rectangles or squares? Because they're always 8.5 by 11.
well, okay, but like, is poker a board game? Because you're using paper in that.
It's a table game.
Okay, but
God.
what's the table made out of,
Dude,
Justin?
everything is paper. Every game is some form of.
The
It
the
all comes from
table's made
trees.
the table is made out of wooden boards. If
Yeah,
you really get down to it, like a
yeah.
tabletop game.
But you can
You
also
know,
play that virtually now.
I guess. I mean, but you can play any board game virtually. Is
I
that still a
know.
board game?
So what are we even talking about?
I don't know. You started it. I didn't fucking start this. You
Wait, so my
started
conversation before we got to all existential was
it. You asked me if board games are more popular now.
yeah. Well, because
The
I'm
fuck
curious
kind
about
of
that because no, because I
aggressive
have
question is that?
because it's kind of weird. It's not weird, but it is interesting that board games are still relevant despite the fact that video games are so good and so present. It's a little bit interesting, right? Like you'd think that it would be totally obsolete in a way with.
Yeah. No, I mean, my favorite video game is totally a board game style game. Like
Hmm.
it's sort of Risk-esque. But like a video game is sort of like the next logical step, you
Hmm.
know, where you're using less imagination, more like literal images,
I see.
right?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it's like the same medium, it's in the same genre. I don't know.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm just one. I don't know. I feel like maybe I don't know. Are they more popular or less popular? Because at some point it was all that people had, And then video games
They've,
came into the picture. You always had sports, I guess, too.
they've got to be less popular. I mean, just from like, I mean, at least less played. You know, just from
Less
diverting
played.
to video games, right?
Right. Like total games spent, and you had like a pie
Yeah.
chart of how much that was on board games in like physically. Yeah, probably very
Yeah, I
infrequently.
mean, how do you measure popularity? Is that just like hours played,
Right, right.
right? I,
Hmm.
I guess.
I think in
I
that
guess
way
that's
for
how you
sure it
measure it.
must be less.
Must be less. Like,
Yeah.
there's no fucking way. There's
Hmm.
only so many hours in a day that you can waste on something that's not productive.
I feel like I'll go the rest of my life almost never learning any more board games, like a new
You're,
board game.
you're never gonna play Settlers of Japan.
Of what?
You said that like,
No, you literally cut out. I thought you said
oh, okay.
Japan. Did you say Japan?
No, Settlers of Catan.
Of Catan. Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Okay, well, it's a very popular board game. It's a good
Okay.
game.
It has a lot of
Great.
users.
I mean, there's an online version of it.
Okay.
Also,
That's how you know it's
I
popular. It's when a board game is virtual. When
yeah,
it's
is
no
it like
longer a board game,
when
it's
it
transcended.
transcends the table?
it, it transcends the table, dude. That is the fucking goal
Yeah,
of every
the
board game.
fucking great board game in the sky.
Yeah.
Like,
The cloud games. I don't know.
I don't fucking understand technology, man.
Huh.
I don't understand it.
I think it's sad to play a board game and then just end up looking on your phone when you could be. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of lame. You could be looking at a table, but now you're looking at a screen on your phone and you're holding it. It's kind of lame. It almost feels like it kind of defeats the purpose. Not even just because, like, you're not physically present with the people you're
I'm
playing with, but, like, it's just lame that you're fucking looking at a screen now. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not following. Are you saying like it's lame to play a game on your phone instead of a board game?
Well, it's kind of lame specifically to play a board game on a phone.
Oh, board game on a phone. Well, it's not a fucking board game if it's on a phone.
I
That's a
know, but
phone.
it like it could be.
Not
It could be, so I feel
no,
like it should be. You know what I
but
mean?
it's not. I mean,
But if you're playing
it's
like
a.
if you're playing Monopoly on your phone or you're playing poker on your phone, it's like, dude, you should just play that in person though.
I think we should call it a turn-based game instead of a board game.
Okay.
Because like a turn-based game is what every board game has been forever. And like what
That's
I think of
is
as
that
like a
true? Yeah,
video,
I guess.
like the video game
Hungry
that
Hungry
I
Hippos?
play.
That's
What?
not a turn-based game, right?
Sorry, what?
Hungry Hippos. Is that a board game? What the fuck is that?
Fucking Christ! Yeah, God damn it! No, that's not turn-based. You're right. You just
Yeah.
fucking smash that hippo whenever you
Yeah.
want.
I don't know what that is. Well, because
It's
also you had
totally.
that boxing game. It was like a classic board boxing game. You had like that red and blue
That's not a
robot.
fucking board game. That's
Okay,
not a board game. Those are action figures. It's outside the
I
realm.
guess. I guess, yeah. I mean, I just don't know what they're technically even called. They're so prehistoric, in
This
my opinion, that I
Rock'em
don't.
Sock'em Robots, man.
Huh? Is that what it was
Yeah.
called?
Yeah, it's called Rock.
Rock'em
No,
Sock'em
I made
Robots.
that
Okay.
up. I'm a
Oh,
fucking marketing genius. Rock'em
I just, dude, I
Sock-
have no idea. I'm like, that sounds made up, but it's also kind of sounds like what it would be called.
it, it's all made up.
There's
Like,
some toy called Sock'em Boppers or something, and it sounded too close to that, so I thought maybe that's you just made that up. It looks like a really big glass
what
of
are
whatever you're
Sock'em
drinking.
Boppers?
I might have the name wrong, but it was like a blow up giant punching glove kind of. It looked like a giant marshmallow
Oh,
that you would blow up and you'd punch your
yeah, I know
friends.
what you're talking about. It's just, yeah, like a punching balloon.
Pretty much, yeah, with
Yeah.
your own air in it, which is gross. Do you think they banned that, like with COVID? Like you just blow your COVID into this punching bag and hit each other in the face now? It's no longer allowed.
Kids could like throw COVID balloons at each other.
Yeah, pretty
That'd be
much.
sick.
Huh.
Hmm. So much potential for chemical warfare.
I'm thinking, yeah, like you just blow up a balloon and then let it go and just COVID like spurts out of the tail.
You just fucking spit on people. It's
just,
inefficient.
just spit on people. Yeah.
Yeah, just,
Huh.
yeah, just be real.
Is that a board game? No. COVID to the board game.
Not. Wait, what about that game where it's like, you know, like it's a hand that you put whipped cream on and it like smacks you in the face or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Isn't that just a fucking prank, you asshole?
No, it's not a prank. It's like
What? This is a game?
there's some kind of game aspect to it. I've never played it because
You have cream on your hand?
no, it's a plastic hand and there's a little framing for your face. You put your face in the frame. You
Oh.
put like whipped cream on the hand,
Okay.
and then you have so much time to like answer a question or something, and
Hmm.
if you fail, it smacks you in the face. Is
I see.
that a board game?
I don't think so. If you don't think
No, if Rock'em Sock'em Robots, it's not a board
right,
game. Yeah, no, you're right.
huh?
I think we got it. I think we figured this out.
I feel
This
like
is
we
pretty.
asked a question, but I'm not sure we ever answered it. We just talked about as a concept what board
If
games are, and we
board
challenged
games are
that for a
more
bit.
popular now,
That's what the question was. I guess we kind of answered that. We
I
took the
mean,
part that we can answer more confidently, and then the rest is kind of like it's hard to say.
I feel pretty good about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I again, like if you measure popularity in hours spent playing it, then yeah, I think it's less popular now. But if you measure popularity in like number of people polled who would say, yes, I like board games, it's probably about equal to what it was before.
Yeah, I think maybe I must have sort of vaguely in my mind had been thinking like sales, right?
Sales.
Yeah, board game sales. Do you think those are higher or lower?
I
And then
mean,
it's like relative to the population. I don't know. Are games
uh,
just more popular in general?
accounting for inflation, games more popular. Yeah, I mean,
Just
games are
numbers,
way.
like units sold, not like, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean, games have to be more popular, like with the advent of video games and shit, but like how good they are now. Gotta be
Yeah.
more popular than it was 30 years ago. Not to mention, like in my dad's day, like video games only existed at that place over on the corner, and you had to go
Right,
to
as an
class.
arcade form. Wait, is there
Yeah.
barking? Oh no, I can hear myself.
Oh, fucking idiot.
It
No.
sounds like barking. I guess me hearing myself talk is feels like barking. Makes sense.
Okay.
A
But
dogs do the same thing. They bark and they hear it bounce back, and it's like, hey,
it's like
is that
that
dog?
fucking dog who saw us. Suddenly, I'm like, wait, is there a third person on this call? I see a picture of another guy over here.
Oh my
Oh
god.
wait, that's fucking me. My bad.
Uh,
What's up, Jay?
hey, I wonder if
Hey.
twins when they video chat if they get each other mixed up.
Oof. I like that. That's gross. Twins are gross. They should feel
Twins are
bad about
gross.
themselves.
There's too many
All
of
the
them.
yeah, at least one too many.
Do you think there's ever been a
Or
twin that killed the other and said there's only room for one of us in this world?
yes, that is
Okay,
definitely
that's probably
happened.
happened.
Twins are born with murder in their hearts. They're hateful, hateful.
And the twin just before he got shot is like, "Oh, you're so fucking corny," and then he kills him.
Yeah.
And that was that. That was the end of that movie. It was a great movie.
Each twin is half a person until the other twin is dead.
That sounds like in a different time that would be one of the most offensive things you could say. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Huh. Being a twin
Uh,
must be really weird.
yeah, it sounds. I mean, to just not be like a unique person, it's fucking weird.
Huh. Yeah, but at the same time, you're so rare because the odds of you being a
Yeah,
twin. Yeah, that's weird.
but obviously they are unique people, like in their brains or whatever. But it's like
Yeah,
genetically identical. It's fucking crazy.
yeah.
You can murder people and get away with that shit off plausible deniability.
Oh my
That's pretty
God, and
sick.
also DNA evidence, right?
That's happened before. Legitimately happened before, where
Oh, that's so
DNA
weird.
evidence they couldn't decide which brother it was.
Huh.
Yeah, fucking crazy. That's a
That's so weird.
superpower.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Can you imagine like having a criminal twin brother or something and he's just out there? Like any day he could just frame me.
yeah. Well, it's like
Jeez.
you have the one evil twin, and the nice twin is so nice that he's agreed that he won't rat the other one out. So
Huh.
every time the evil twin is accused of a crime, he's like, "Could have been me. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know."
We have the
He
same
leaves the
memories.
door
We're
open.
twins.
I won't say either way
Huh.
whether or not I did the thing. It's
Jeez.
been living off that.
Yeah, one's a criminal, the other has a terrible memory.
I feel like if you are a twin, you should legally be allowed to kill your twin. Like that should be allowed.
Oh my God.
First of all,
After a certain age?
suicide should be legal. And if you did a DNA test in that scenario, it would be determined that you killed yourself.
Huh, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. If you legalize suicide, you have an endemic of twin homicides.
Jesus.
So
Yeah,
we've got
just
to
my
think
arms
about
here.
that. There's all these chain reactions that happen whenever you change something.
And the twins are always hit the hardest. They're- All right, so I'll what are you drinking?
Coffee.
Okay. At 10:44 at night,
I have a fucking problem.
Pacific
Yeah.
time. No, I
Well,
just want people to know because there's no context as to what time this
no,
phone
just
call's happening.
I need your sympathy at times like this. Like I have issues.
I used to have this. I used to be recording myself here at like 3, 4 in the morning, and I hope that I'm not really doing that anymore. Yeah.
Every, every time you get closer to the screen, it's like you're coming out at the night. You're just like, and then you slink back. You're
Does
like,
it kind? It kind of looks like I'm in water, right? Like dark, murky water, and I come back out.
yeah. No, it's a cool effect. I mean, it's like I imagine there's like someone behind you, like pulling the strings, like a puppet master.
This is a very yeah weird looking at myself like this.
Yeah.
I'll keep it for now. I mean, I could have this little screen light on, but I thought this is kind of nice how it blurs stuff out. Let's see. Let's change the mood a little bit.
I
How's
really wish
that?
you did more things with a V for Vendetta mask on.
Would it give me more credibility?
You just got this Guy Fawkes thing going on.
I got this
I've always
Guy
been
Fawkes
very
vibe.
impressed with it. Yeah,
Huh.
you just got it.
You know, I did that thing at my high school, right? Where me and a friend, I won't rat her out, but I remember her name. I'm not a tattletale. But yeah, we took a bed sheet and spray painted that V on it and hung it up at the high school right in the front. We climbed up to the roof and everything. So at this high school, right,
Wow.
Davis High.
Yeah.
Probably way too much information now. Everyone can look at us, but
Mm, okay.
Davis
I
High
like that.
alumni. Do you like that or not? Because I'll edit it out if you don't.
I don't know. It's a lot of edits now. You said it too many times.
It's fine. I could just cut that part out anyway. But
That's all right. Well, cut that out. Keep the racist stuff, right?
yeah, this is where we'll cut. We'll start the cut footage right there, and like what? Um,
Yeah.
this is just for us.
Yeah.
But at that school, which shall not be named, yeah, well, you have the parking lot, and as you walk, there's sort of that auditorium building. Basically, like it was at the front display of the school, like the most likely place at the high school you would be to see that is where we hung up that basically like a giant bed sheet V for Vendetta sign that we spray painted together. I mean, it was just the
Yeah.
V in a circle with red spray paint, and we hung that over the building, so
What
everyone.
what year were you in when you did that?
Geez, I don't remember. It might have been senior year. It sounds like something seniors would do. It was
Okay.
senior or junior.
Yeah. Okay. If it was senior, I guess I wouldn't have been there for it.
Yeah.
I don't remember that happening.
It was a bit of a trek to get to that thing. Like you had to climb up some stairs and then get onto the rails this stairs and then hop over this thing to get onto the roof and then there's a
I've
bunch
been
of
on that roof before
yeah, that was a
with
climb that some
you.
people would do.
Yeah, me and you went up there once,
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah. Hmm. It'd be kind of interesting for nostalgia to go back and do that again.
I don't think we're allowed to climb on buildings anymore.
Dude, we definitely weren't then or now.
But it's not like cute anymore, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, are
It
guys like
feels
gonna bomb this place or something?
exactly. It would feel like a really mean thing to do now.
Yeah, it would feel like
Like,
terrorism, even though it's just I don't
yeah.
know. Oh, I'm just
Well, yeah,
nostalgia. Like what?
when the cops see a 16-year-old on the roof, they're like, "Ah, get on down now, kids. Like, I'm
Yeah,
letting you off with a warning and a finger wag."
yeah.
And now it's like not
Now
allowed on
it's like
property.
get on your knees. They fucking point a gun at you now and say get on your knees.
Yeah.
They really might. I mean, geez, I don't
No,
know.
they really might.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I'd be
like with
worried
all
about
this,
that.
with everything that's happened over the past like 10 years.
Yeah,
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 and
not
too
worth the
many shootings and
nostalgia.
shit. Yeah.
It's just a prank. Yeah, God.
Jesus.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we hung it up there, and I guess I heard it was up for a couple of periods. I mean, I was ditching class so much, I don't even think I was there to like see it the next day,
Yeah.
which is kind of
That's
stupid. I did all that, and then I didn't even go to school the day after to see it.
so silly. That's
Yeah,
some silly shit. I
but
like
I
that
guess a
kind
lot
of.
of people talked about it, so that's cool.
Ugh. I guess a lot of people talked about it. Subtle
Yeah.
brag there.
I mean, it had the impact I wanted, but it got taken down within 2 periods, so that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. That's cool.
And we did it on the 5th of November, of course.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Goddamn nerds. I didn't even see that movie until like 2 years ago. Dope. It's a good
Oh,
movie.
really? I should probably rewatch that movie. I haven't honestly, I haven't even thought of that movie in probably 10 years. I don't know.
It's a really fucking good movie. I
Yeah.
mean, my parents were really strict in high school, so I wasn't allowed to watch rated R movies at
Hmm.
all in high school, pretty much. So like, I've been making up for that over the past 10 years. Um,
Hmm.
and there's just so many movies that I keep forgetting to watch. That was one for a long
Hmm.
time.
I wonder what you're gonna do after you run out of coffee. What are you gonna do?
No, I want to make more coffee.
Okay. I wish I
I
had
just,
something to drink too. I guess in
I'm just,
podcasts they pause sometimes for breaks or whatever.
I actually have more coffee.
Okay. I'm
Not
still
one.
thinking about that apple. Now that I'm thinking about getting something, it's like the first thing that came to mind is an apple.
Is that what you asked about the coffee, so that I would be the one who caused the break?
No,
You
it
could
just
reasonably get an
happened very
apple.
naturally.
You can't fucking eat an apple on a podcast.
I know.
Has Joe Rogan ever eaten an apple
Dude, actually,
on
I
a
think on
podcast?
my last one, or the one that I had a guest on the last time, which is the first time and the last time, right? I was eating an apple, I think, on that podcast.
Not
That's
allowed,
so
man.
that's so annoying. I'm annoyed at myself that the last time this
Yeah,
happened, I
I
was
mean,
eating
how
an
many
apple
views
too.
did you get on that one, Jay?
Probably, I don't know if I'd have more or less because of that.
It didn't impact it at
I don't know.
all.
Maybe apples will be a theme or a thing. Sounds like an annoying theme, but I wouldn't mind it.
This is the worst theme I've ever.
Yeah, it's an annoying idea. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, this is what I wanted to talk about. Um, I don't even know how to introduce the subject, but I was watching the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and I was almost no, I guess I just straight up was annoyed at how much better of a spectator sport football is than tennis. And I was,
Like better to watch.
it's better to watch, but it's also just the way that it's filmed, but also the drama of the game. It's like
That
there's
is a
this.
hard. Sorry.
Wait, what's hard? What were you gonna say?
It's just hard to watch tennis. I mean, the fucking you feel so far away. You're on like
Hmm.
you're either in the middle trying to like look back and forth across the screen, or you're behind one player and the other one's far away, and the depth perception's all fucked up, and I can't see how
Yeah,
far the ball's going.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time with lacrosse too, because like I love playing lacrosse, but
Hmm.
watching it sucks. 'Cause I never know where the ball is. Never have an idea.
It was frustrating for me because I was just noticing, like, I only watched for a few minutes, and it was just like every minute I felt like I had so much more data just supporting the reality, in my opinion, that football is a much more entertaining game to watch than tennis.
Yeah, I mean
And it
it's
was kind of
also
pissing me
built.
off.
It's built for like groups of people to watch it. It's supposed to be like
Yeah.
you watch and then oh they're all stopping. I'm gonna go take a piss and grab a beer.
Hmm.
Um, we all sit around and like the game gets boring for a little bit. They run the ball 10 times in a row. Everyone chats or whatever. And oh shit, look at that throw. Like
Hmm.
it's that kind of it's good for that. That's why the Super Bowl is such a big game, and like all these fucking people who don't care about football tune in for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because you get all these spectators that aren't necessarily sports,
But
you know.
they can still appreciate like the
Fuck, I'm
the
all out of it.
five. They can still appreciate like the five entertaining plays a game. You know,
Yeah, because
even
some of
though
that stuff's obviously
mm,
interesting, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm starting to. I watched the whole Super Bowl on my phone in the car driving back from Idaho. Um, like I wasn't driving, other people were driving, but
Okay.
so everyone knows.
Just so everyone knows I'm a safe
Okay,
driver. Don't worry.
relax.
If I ever
Um,
kidnap you, don't worry about crashing. Just don't do anything dangerous.
but like I didn't really care about it. I'm starting to lose my love for football a little bit.
Hmm.
Kind of strange. It's been like a big part of my identity for a long time. Um, liking football. Just starting to get bored of it.
Hmm. I wanted to talk a little bit more about why I thought it was a better game. It's like than tennis to watch, you know?
Yeah.
It was like the drama, really. Not some kind of political drama, but just the way that the
Yeah.
story unfolds. It's like you have these
Mm,
players on two sides. So I'm literally really like just for anybody watching, I am not a football guy at all. I don't care about football. I can't even name all the teams. I've probably never sat down and watched more than 5 or 10 minutes of football at a time in my life. You know what I mean? Like I'm really distanced from football. Um, So I'm coming into this as someone that's kind of like rejected it almost. Would you say that? Do I reject football or
Yes.
am I just disinterested? Is that the same
I
thing?
think I got you to acknowledge the value of football in some ways.
Okay, yeah. Because we've had conversations like how I almost don't respect the sport because every
Yeah.
play is like 3 or 4 seconds. Like, what the fuck is that, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
we've talked
beauty
about
of
that.
it is that every play is like five plays at the same time. You know,
Hmm.
it's the wide receiver and the cornerback having their little dance, and like the offensive lineman battling the defensive lineman, and the linebackers moving to where the running back's going. Or, yeah,
Hmm.
all these fucking coordinated movements in this little chess game, this fucking very like 12D rock paper scissors match of
Yeah.
like what's the defense going to call, what's the offense going to call. Is a huge range of options.
Hmm.
You know, one mistake is a big deal.
The other thing too, well, when we talked about that, we talked about how on the athletic side of that, you just have like 5 second bursts of maximum athletic output for whatever that position is responsible for. So I thought, okay, that actually is interesting because part of me is like, yeah, they're whatever for 5 seconds, you
Yeah,
know, that's really maybe not athletic in a way, right?
yeah,
Which is a fair argument, but I like that. I like your response to that because you take the framework of that argument and actually kind of say
yeah.
that's not
Well,
true because
well,
yeah,
what's funny is you'll see like a cornerback intercepts the ball, runs 80 yards for the touchdown, and then on the sidelines he's got an oxygen mask on. You're like, what the fuck, man?
jeez,
He needs to take oxygen right now.
huh,
And you kind of realize like these dudes are fucking, they're going all out on every single play. They're not building themselves for like stamina or distance running. Like if you
huh,
watch people play soccer, people like slow up and they take it easy for a little bit because they have 90 minutes of basically, they have halftime, but other than that, nonstop play.
hmm,
And it's like you can't just be sprinting the whole time. But football, like I played football in high school, and it was like if you didn't run to the huddle, your coaches yelled at you. You had to run to the sidelines. You had to
hmm,
be running everywhere you went, or you were in trouble, and they would make you like run a lap or something and yell at
huh,
you. So it's like ingrained in you. Fucking go hard the whole time.
okay, hmm.
Yeah, very shitty culture. So shitty.
Well, the other thing too, I was going to say that about the drama, and I'm not talking about anything political or like somebody gets hit or something necessarily, and then anger. I'm really talking about the way that the game is designed. There's so much drama inherently because you have, it's basically kind of like a tug of war game in a way, right? You have two people on opposing sides, 100 yards, right? The whole field,
Yeah,
and you're trying to move your way down. So there's this constant pressure that is very visually obvious that is happening, right? So you have like 4 downs. I don't really understand how it works, but like there's pressure in terms of getting to the other side,
yeah,
but that movement from your side to the other side is broken down into steps, and each step there's pressure applied, like there's time pressure, there's
yeah.
distance pressure, like you have to travel a certain distance or else the other team gets the ball, right? Like there's so much pressure to move forward, and I think that constantly
Mhm.
engages you with what's happening, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, one thing you might not appreciate is that like even if you don't score, just moving forward is still significant. It's
Hmm.
still progress because every step forward you move is one step further the other team is going to have to move once they get the ball.
Huh, yeah,
So I mean, every yard counts at the end of the day. But
yeah.
responding to like you talking about the pressure and the drama, like one of the cool things is sort of you have these like big these individual matchups that develop over the course of the game. Like it once you get really into it, you know the names of these guys. It's like for instance in the Super Bowl, there's a player Jalen Ramsey, who's a cornerback for the Rams. He's been around for 8ish years or something. He's always been like kind of a hothead, talks a lot of shit. And he's a great player. He got his ass kicked in that game. Like he played terribly.
Hmm.
So, like, you see him get beat, and then you're asking yourself, like, how is he going to recover from this? Is he going to be able to, like, do something about that? There's a story building about that. And, I saw a still image today of the last play of the game where the Bengals failed to convert their fourth down and they lost the game basically. And Jalen Ramsey had fallen down on that play, leaving his the guy he's covering wide open. So if the offensive line had held up for 1 second longer, the quarterback could have thrown it to the wide open receiver and won the game right there. You know, it's just
Huh.
it's there's yeah, there's such depth
Huh.
to that.
I think that probably contributes to why some of the culture is so intense, because I feel like a lot of results really come from a decision that was just, millimeters, and maybe
Yeah,
so every loss or every win just feels like, oh my God, I was so fucking close.
yeah,
It was so,
yeah.
and the salt of that loss.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
like people put whole games on players. You know what I mean? Like one
Hmm.
player will fuck up at the end of the game, and it's like he fucking blew it. That guy lost this game. It's like
Jeez.
it was a 60-minute game. You know, there were interceptions thrown, there were fumbles, there were blown coverages, but no, the last play of the game, that guy fucked up. He lost it.
Hmm.
You know, that guy missed the kick. It's his fault. We lost.
Yeah, jeez.
It's like it's a lot of pressure. It's very intense.
It's a completely different sport, but you see the way in which the sport is designed and the way that it maintains your engagement as a spectator, right? I can see why the culture is the way that it is, and the tennis culture is the way that it is. And
Yeah.
golf in a way too. They're just, if you look at the way, like if you were to look at these things as a social media platform almost, you could almost, right, like the algorithm. If you want to look at the way that the
Yeah.
rules and stuff are designed, and the way that plays out to be the reason it's engaging for an audience to watch,
Yeah, how the culture will
you can
develop around
see
that.
how the culture will develop around that. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I also think tennis outfits are stupid if they look
Tennis
nice.
outfits are stupid.
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, like if you just go around wearing tennis clothes versus wearing football clothes, like which one looks less crazy?
All right, sure, but
Okay.
like
But while you're playing,
I just like I have a hard time. Do women like wearing skirts when they're playing a sport? It's like I have a hard time.
I think a lot of them, I think women always wear either, I don't even know if this is like an intelligent answer, or it's just like this is just what girls wear. You know what I mean? But they either wear
Yeah,
leggings
yeah,
or like those shorts that are like kind of those spandexy shorts, or
yeah.
a skirt.
Those make sense. I don't know why. Just the skirt seems like unnecessary flair in my mind. Maybe I'm
Huh.
not very smart. I don't know.
Like, why would they wear that as opposed to just the shorts or leggings or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
It just seems like
Just to look more girly is what
I
you're
just
saying?
want
Like,
to fluff
outside of.
out. Well, like, yeah. I
Maybe.
mean, maybe I'm missing it. I've never worn a skirt, so I really don't know what it's like. Let alone like participated in a sport in a skirt.
I think something about the way that the pockets are actually designed for tennis, too. It's more
Oh,
graceful if it's kind of tucked under this skirt design as opposed to just bulge out the side of this spandex pocket that's tightly fitting.
okay,
I think
that's
that's part
fair.
of it.
I'm sure there's logic behind it. I just like
Yeah.
living in this world where it's just like a stupid holdover from some
Well,
weird
it could
French
also be
tradition.
that. I feel like a lot of sports have that appeal because of, and they know that, so they just do that. I don't know.
Hey, I gotta get my laptop charger real quick.
Okay.
Want to do a break? You can get your Apple.
Yeah, God. I'll get my fucking Apple. You can't pause a video chat, so I'll just come back.
All right.
I peel my apples now. I don't eat them with the skin. I just peel them off.
Don't tell me shit like that,
Because of all the current Caranuba wax. Anyway, that's why I didn't bother
bro.
getting an apple.
You told me if I scraped my fingernail across it, I would get like a pile of wax, and I tried it. I got no wax.
Huh.
I'm never gonna trust you again.
Do you ever take a knife to peel a carrot?
Sorry, what?
You ever use a knife to peel a carrot?
Yeah, I
You
do
should,
like it.
yeah, you just scrape it. You don't actually like try to slice it off. You just take and scrape
Yeah.
it like that, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Do that for sure you will.
All right.
Are
Let's
you
do
gonna
it.
do it right now?
Yeah, bitch.
Okay. All
You
right.
called out on your podcast.
All right, that's fair. I mean, if anything, you're gonna get called out. If you don't get wax, then it has something to do with your knife skills.
Ah, fuck. This apple got me bad. Fuck.
What?
Uh,
Did the
the
apple?
moldy spot on the apple.
Oh.
Ugh. Are both the apples pested? Okay, this apple's still good. Fucking shit, what happened?
Fucking
So happy
shit.
right now.
That's his catchphrase.
Ugh. I feel like I deserve that for talking so much
Yeah, you
shit.
probably did.
Okay, I'm doing it like this. What
Wait,
do
is
you
that with
want?
your knife or your nail?
You said with my nail. You want?
Oh.
The other day you said with your nail. Now you said with a knife. I guess. Should I do it with a knife?
I mean, yeah, if the nail didn't work, then a knife should.
I don't want to eat this apple right now.
You don't have to. You can just try to peel the wax off.
I know, but if I break the skin, I feel like I have to eat it.
Oh, well, then just be good with a knife. You just try being good with a knife and don't break the skin.
I think I win this. I don't know, dude.
What? You're not even doing it.
God damn.
Yeah, do you see a bunch of wax like collect on the knife?
Yep, there it is. Got me.
So just imagine that around the entire surface area of the apple, and then be me who eats like 6 apples a day sometimes, maybe more.
Yeah, that's fucking significant.
It's surprising how much wax there is, right? Like you can get a little hill on there.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Huh.
Okay. All right, you got me. There it is.
Maybe you gotta sharpen your nails. That's the lesson here.
Foiled again.
That's a 10 for Justin, 0 for Oliver. Yeah. Well, yeah. I forget where we're going with that, but I think
Oh,
football is a way better game to watch. Even as a tennis fan, I only watch highlight videos, right? You know, I mean, I think tennis is a really cool sport, but you know,
like
the games. I mean, they're just not as fun to watch. I don't know what to say.
I've only ever watched tennis when it's like a trick shot kind of thing. Like, oh, look at this ridiculous, like this
Yeah.
guy threw his racket in the air and hit the ball. And then all the comments on Reddit are like, you're not actually allowed to do that in a game. This was an exhibition game, so it didn't count for anything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so cool things aren't allowed. And
Yeah.
like, fuck, you know?
Well, it bums me out as a real tennis player too to see the way in which they film tennis and they zoom so far out it looks like a board game with little people and it's like, man, I wish they had a better angle where you could really appreciate the intensity and how fast everything is happening and they just don't. They just
I
don't
don't
really
think
film it that way.
I don't think there's a good angle for it, I guess.
Well, I think that it's definitely a lot harder than for football, for sure. Like, I think that there
Yeah.
is better angles and they could do something to make it more interesting to watch, but like the reality is still basically in line with what you're saying.
I mean, in football, they have a fucking a cord going across the field with a
Yeah.
camera that's like hanging down from it,
Mm-hmm.
and it pans over so that
Yeah.
in instant replay you get these amazing close-up shots.
Yep.
It's fucking great. I mean, they.
I even think with those angles in tennis, it wouldn't necessarily help the sport in that way as a spectator sport. It just wouldn't help the
No.
sport. No, it just wouldn't. And
Well, I
it's so
mean,
different because you have like a ball here, 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 here. Like, how do you film that in an engaging way? You know?
it's kind of weird, man. I don't know. I put tennis into a separate sport category,
Hmm.
along with golf and like cornhole, you know.
Damn. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just fucking with you on the cornhole.
But I get it. I get that if you're
You
watching
know?
it, I think maybe it is actually productive to think about sports as a spectator sport to categorize that differently than as an athletic sport. You know, like to
Yeah.
think about it as their value as a spectator sport versus as just a regular sport. Like, is tennis extremely high intensity in the cardio department? Like, fuck yeah, it's absolutely way up there. Like,
So, is a sport defined by like how much exercise you get while doing it?
no. I mean, technically it's not, but also in terms of
Yeah.
why somebody values it, I don't necessarily think so. But for some people, that for sure is the reason why. Like, oh, golf's not a sport, you know? It's like, but it
Yeah,
is, you know?
I'm one of those guys who always says golf is not a sport, and
Yeah.
that's wise because you don't exercise. But I guess it's not really important.
No, I would still consider it a sport. I think there's a lot of athleticism
Yeah.
that does go into it. Like, do you have to fucking be able to run 10 miles to be a good golf player? No.
I don't know. I have
But
a
it
hard
takes a
time.
well, it takes a ton of hand-eye coordination and definitely a lot of strength and athleticism and like a really
Yeah.
a connected relationship to all your golf clubs. I mean,
Yeah,
there's real sports like qualities to it for sure, and also you're
I
just legitimately outside.
there's definitely sports like qualities to it. I have a hard time with any sport where like
What sport
oh,
to you is the closest one between the border of being a sport and not a sport?
baseball.
Baseball. So okay, so baseball
You
is above
baseball is a
golf in that way.
sport. I'm gonna
Okay,
call baseball a sport. I'm gonna go out and say it. It's controversial, but you can
because
be
it's golf,
oh
except you're running too.
yeah, you run sometimes, and like I mean, my problem is if you're like visibly out of shape, it's hard for me to consider you're visibly out of shape and you're doing this professionally,
Yeah, it
and this
bothers
is
me a
a
little bit.
sport. And it's hard for me to call that a sport. Baseball, you see out of shape dudes who can just fucking slug the ball, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they're built up in their arms, but like the dude's like eating peanuts on the sideline. You know, it's like you shouldn't be able to eat while you play a sport. I don't know. It's not
uh,
right.
I
It's
know
not
what you mean. I
American.
mean, like you have to.
Yeah,
It's not American to eat. Well, it's so American. Are you kidding me?
it's not American.
Um, but I see what you mean. I mean, I used to feel like that more when I was a little younger, I guess too.
Oh, okay, I see how it is.
Yeah,
Now you're more mature, so you
when I
don't
was
feel
a
like
less
that anymore.
developed person.
Yeah.
As I've
I just
grown
like talking.
wiser and just understand the world better.
I just like talking shit about baseball. It just makes me happy.
Yeah, I
One
can
of
see
those things.
why. I mean, it's hard to if you respect games for their raw athleticism, then yeah, baseball is going to be
Yeah,
not as highly respected or regarded in that way for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, tennis is a sport, obviously.
Maybe what bothers me is I think people underrate or don't understand how intense tennis actually is. I don't think they
I've
quite
def
understand how actually like violent it feels when you play it. I think people don't understand that.
before you told me about your tennis playing, I did not consider it a sport
Hmm.
because I in my
I see that. I could see that
I
from
didn't
watching it.
I didn't realize how intense it was.
Hmm.
Honestly, 'cause I never watched it. I didn't care about it. And then you started talking about it. I was like, okay, Justin, with your fucking skirts and
My
you know
skirts, yeah.
your clay pits or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's yeah, I mean you can't capture that and bring that in to be part of the value as a spectator sport, I don't think.
Wait, what's the literal definition of the word sport?
Yeah, what is? Because I heard that chess is a sport. But why
An
is that?
active, an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. So
So
physical exertion
so
is
where do you
required.
draw the line between physical exertion and like just your finger picks up a piece and moves it?
That is a problem.
That is
Yeah.
probably you
Well,
can't call that exertion, right? Are you exerting
no,
your muscles to move a chess piece?
no.
No, that's a board game. Well,
I
because
would
then all
say
board games are just sports, so I mean, it doesn't matter.
I'd say by that definition, golf is a sport
Yeah, that's
because
kind of what I mean.
yeah, swinging the club is a physical exertion.
Yeah,
Definitely, it
definitely.
takes form and it builds muscle. It's
It's
physically
roughly
exertion.
at least as hard as like like hitting a baseball, you know? I
Yes,
think it's different, but like it's comparable in the skill that it takes and the strength that it takes.
but I don't respect it as a sport
Okay, okay. So what is your reason for that? Because of the athleticism it lacks?
because you hit the ball and then you walk.
Okay.
You just walk to it,
Yeah, I get
and
that.
you have a little
Walking is
car
good
that you.
exercise.
Yeah, no. You don't always walk. You also have a little car that you drive, and you have a little helper who carries your stuff for you.
What if you would just mix
Like
like golf with NASCAR? You have to race over to your I don't know, that'd be
that would be
interesting.
sick. I still wouldn't respect it as a sport, but I would
Yeah.
love it.
Wait, so
You
what about
know,
NASCAR? Do you as is NASCAR a sport in your opinion?
is that physical exertion?
I think so. I think like yanking the wheel
Yeah,
like this is actually pretty, you know?
I
Dude, even
guess
playing a video game where you're actually driving like from a real steering wheel as the controller, those are actually kind of exerting.
I wouldn't call that a sport.
Well,
A video
real
game.
driving would be much more intense because you're getting shoved to the left and the right from the
Real
accelerating and
driving,
the turning.
yes,
Yeah,
and it
that's
gets
genuinely
fucking
exerting.
hot. It gets
Yeah,
fucking hot in those cars,
yeah,
and it's very intense, and your muscles have to be tense the entire time. Like it's got to
yeah.
be fucking heavy. Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. Fucking thank God for Webster, man. Solves all
Hmm.
our problems.
I feel like I don't know between golf and baseball. The thing is, I feel like golf players in my memory are stereotypically, like on the professional tour, more in shape looking than some of the baseball players maybe stereotypically aren't. Do you
Mm,
think that's true?
no, I think you're thinking of Tiger Woods,
There's
like
pro
singularly.
No, and then like maybe other random few guys. But I've definitely just randomly seen a lot more baseball guys than golf guys, so
Yeah. I mean, it's also weird because like baseball went very like hard on the steroids, and it's
they did,
like
huh?
Barry Bonds. Like I was really into baseball when I was a kid, and like Barry Bonds was the guy.
Yeah, he was.
Played for the Giants when I was growing up, and like he took so many steroids. His head was so large from the steroids.
Hmm.
He became like a real chubby boy. Like he was out there,
Hmm.
and people just like fucking walked him after a while. They wouldn't even let him. God, there's this great. God, damn, these guys. Uh, Secret Base. They make these YouTube videos breaking down like sports statistics. And they had a whole video about how like asking the question of how good would Barry Bonds be if he didn't have a bat. So it's
If he
like,
didn't have a bat?
yeah, so he's not allowed to hit the ball. So they took all of his at bats and just looked at how many times he was walked, and he's still like a historically great player, having never swung a bat. You
That's
know,
so weird.
it's fucking crazy
How?
because he was walked so often that he was able to get on base like
That's weird.
a
But
lot
why?
because no one wanted to throw a ball that he could hit. 'Cause he'd hit it out of the park.
I
He
see.
was one of the greatest home run hitters of all time.
Huh.
Um, thank
So
you,
it got to
steroids.
the point that doing that was better than actually allowing him to hit the ball at all.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. So
Didn't they change some of the rules of baseball after him, like no more metal bats, only wooden bats? Or wasn't that during his career or something like that?
wooden bats have been there for a long time.
Okay. I felt like I remember, like at some time when I was alive, that rule changed like
Mm,
10 or 15 years ago. I literally also just have no
uh,
idea.
Professional baseball is always wooden bats.
Really?
Um, I don't feel super confident, and we're recording this, so I have to be accountable now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, problem.
Let's see. It's fun to have these moments of truth.
Can't spell the word professional. That's fine. Blah, blah, blah.
You know what's funny is I feel like people our generation are going to call spell check, and the younger one will say autocorrect.
Oh God, don't say that.
Spell check? Bro, you call it spell check?
MLB players use wooden bats because the ball has less velocity off the bat when compared to metal bats, which protects both players and fans.
Get anything about the date of when that became a rule? Or,
I think it's always been a rule,
huh?
but I'm not.
I guess I could Google it too. Have metal bats, or what? Were metal bats ever MLB? Metal bats in Major League
Uh,
Baseball. The creation of metal bats occurred in the 1920s,
1970
but not used until the 1970s.
in Little League youth baseball.
MLB prohibited their use. Oh, what, like always?
Even though all levels, yep, seem to prefer metal
When
bats.
did MLB start using it? Since the game began in the 1800s, wood bats were used by the pros. Did MLB
I
ever
nailed it.
allow aluminum bats? When did they start using metal bats in baseball? Oh, okay. So they do that in college baseball. I was kind of surprised to hear that they did because I heard that from somebody that I know, is that they do use metal bats in college baseball. And I was kind of wondering, like,
Yeah,
why? Why would they do that?
everything,
Because, like,
everything,
D1 college athletes get recruited to be MLB, and then it's like
but
you've been
it's
practicing your whole life with metal, and now you're
there's
using wood. It's weird.
there are so many baseball players, so many baseball players, and the number that make it to the MLB is tiny.
But I guess the reason is economically, it's ridiculous to replace as many wooden bats that are broken in a
Oh,
season.
seriously? Is it that?
Yeah, that's what this one random article says.
I'm so skeptical of that. I assumed it was because the players were worse, so you could get the ball further, and that's more fun.
I feel like a lot of D1 athletes in general are pretty close to professional level, especially before they get recruited. Like there's a certain number of D1 level athletes that are close to the professional level, and that's part of why they get recruited. And it's like,
Yeah,
you know
okay,
what I
but
mean?
look, how many MLB players are there? There are 1,000 MLB players.
Isn't that about how many NFL players there are?
Uh, Major League Baseball players there are.
But I mean, isn't it the same for NFL, roughly, like 1,000?
Yeah, and then there are 50,000 college baseball players.
Mm-hmm.
So of those 50,000,
Does college mean what? Just college?
so 2% of college players go on to the major league.
Okay.
So each team has what, like 50 players on it.
Maybe.
So if you have 50 players on your team, on average, one of those guys is going to make it to Major League Baseball.
Hmm.
So I would say most of them are not, as good.
Oh, no, not most. I'm just saying, like, they seem like they'd be good enough to. It's kind of weird that they're that good and they use metal as opposed to wood. It's like they're almost as good, but they use a completely different bat. It's kind of weird.
I don't know. It is weird. We talked about baseball too long. I don't want to talk about.
I don't really care about baseball.
I hate baseball. I hate everyone who likes baseball.
Huh.
People should feel bad.
Yeah, it's a very popular sport. I don't think it has the spectator value that football does. It's kind of surprising, like how people find it very engaging at all. To be honest, right? I feel like I get football, but I really don't get baseball.
Baseball is a big nostalgia factor, and like it's fun to go to baseball games. It's
Huh.
really, if you go to the game, it's pretty fun. You get a hot dog, you get a beer. It's very nostalgic, for me, it's nostalgic because I remember being a kid and like my dad bringing me to a baseball game, giving me a giant hot dog and all that shit.
Huh.
And I played baseball for a while, and most people play baseball for a bit 'cause it's like great for your coordination.
It is a good hand-eye coordination game. It's very basic, but that's an important thing to be able to develop. Yeah, contact the ball with this relatively narrow cylinder.
Yeah, no, it's a sport I think every kid should play.
Yeah, especially the really young ones. I mean, that's what most people do, right? They're really little.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there's a big nostalgia factor. And I mean, fuck, man, it's been around for like 200 years.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. At least for an American sport.
Yeah, that's roughly like pretty soon after we got established.
Yeah, it's not that long.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. People played that shit in the Civil War.
Huh. That's so weird to think about. Yeah, you want to talk about nostalgia? This game's been around since other bad things that aren't around anymore.
Yeah,
we don't talk about.
I don't know what you're talking about. What happened?
Nostalgia.
Yeah. Woo. Good old days.
Hot dogs and such.
Yes, such.
Especially the such.
Yeah.
God. And now we have football. Oh man, we better stop. Yeah.
Tired.
Well, this is pretty good. We can call it there if you want. I don't know how much longer I want to be like sitting in front of the computer staring at it, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of a feeling I have.
Yeah.
Was this podcasty enough for you, Justin?
Was it podcasty enough? Was this
Did
good
we
for you?
podcast it? Are we gonna broadcast the podcast?
Are we gonna cast this pod or what?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta cast out your pod and see what bats.
Huh. Oh my god. What's the cast of this pod? Cast. It's just you and me.
It was funny until you said that.
I know. I'm gonna have to put that in the podcast, and that sucks.
Okay.
Maybe I can cut it out before then.
You have so much power.
I have the power too, but
you have so much power.
I try to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
This is our first video chat in a very long time.
a very long time.
Yeah. You look a little more muscular.
I look more muscular.
Yeah, you do. I don't know, maybe it's the
Wow.
camera angle.
Ugh.
Maybe it's
Maybe
the way
like
that you
I
were just kind of
feel like
brushing your
I'm
hair or
leaning
something.
forward, pretending I have traps.
Hmm.
I don't know. Fucking.
Wait, do I look like what you expected? You said something about my hair.
Oh, I said it looked good.
You like
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
You should. I stand by my suggestion of a red swoosh. Um,
The red swoosh. What, here?
yeah, just like a little red. Just get some highlights on there. Add some color.
I think a bleach swoosh would be interesting. I've never dyed my hair or bleached my hair, and I've always kind of prided myself on that, so I don't know.
I also the same weird pride about that. But I want to convince you to do something stupid
Hmm.
with your hair because you seem very open to different possibilities with it.
Maybe I could do something with the tips. I mean, I'm probably going to cut them off soon anyway. Have some fun before I snip them.
You gonna snip it? What are you gonna do?
Just shorten it a little bit. I mean, I got this mohawk thing going on, and I just thought I'd sort of cut the length to half. That way it can point up more as opposed to kind of droop over to the side. I think
Yeah.
there's only a few lengths with this kind of haircut that look good, and this is one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Like it's not gonna last if you keep throwing it out.
Well, it's like if I take an inch off, that's not going to look good. It'd look better if I took 2 inches off. That's kind of what I mean.
What's the maximum amount of commute you're willing to deal with in your life?
Commute?
Yeah, like a daily commute. What would be a deal breaker?
I think distance is one thing, but when you combine the distance with some kind of like variable of traffic,
Yeah.
changes everything, dude.
Yeah.
I hate traffic more than I hate the distance because it's like, is it going to be a 30-minute drive or like an hour and a half? You know, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
I'm supposed to go to a job interview tomorrow in exactly 12 hours, actually.
Hmm.
11:30. And like it's 15 miles away. It's like a 30 to 40 minute drive in the morning.
Hmm.
Like I don't want to do that.
You know what's funny is like 20 minutes to me feels like, oh, nothing. No problem. But
No,
somehow 30 minutes is like,
I
that's
know.
kind of far though. 30 minutes. It
It's
feels like a
fuck.
whole other town over.
This is what I'm talking about. Because it's like I was commuting 20, 25 minutes to work every day, and I was like, this is fine. This is okay. But now it's like 30, 35. I'm like,
That does
can't do
seem weird
that.
that matters because it almost shouldn't. But
It
if it's a
almost,
different route and the traffic is a lot worse sometimes, then I'd let that get to me a little bit, to be honest.
yeah, I guess I also don't like the route because I'm like going all the way around the city. Something
Hmm.
about that just feels so long.
So detoury.
And like, I
That
guess
sounds like a route where you'd run into a lot more traffic if you're just going around. I
yeah,
don't know. Would you? Do you know?
yeah. It's
What
like I
time do you go
guess I might.
tomorrow?
I don't know if I should go to the interview or not, or just email them saying I got another job. You know, because I have another interview set up for Friday. I need to hear back from the interview I had today. Like, I don't know.
Hmm. I have no idea.
I don't either.
But
This
it
is
is
just
funny how 20 minutes feels like nothing and 30 minutes is this whole other fucking commitment.
yeah. You didn't like so. Is that your threshold? Like 20 minutes?
Yeah, but I think now that I'm saying it out loud, the reason 20 and 30 sound so different is because a 20 versus 30-minute drive, but then you factor in that could be like a 5 to 8 mile difference, right?
Yeah,
But if you have 5 to 8 more miles of traffic, that's so much more traffic, dude.
I know.
That is so much more time on the road. Maybe that's why it sounds so bad. I don't know.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, we could make all our phone calls happen in traffic. We could have a traffic podcast every time.
I've thought about that because I mean I don't really know what the. That's the thing with YouTube. I think if you're on YouTube, people want to watch, but a lot of people that upload
Yeah,
podcasts and stuff they upload it to Spotify, but also to YouTube. But there's a visual component. They don't just upload the audio to YouTube.
I like the idea of having a podcast where I'm in traffic talking to other people in traffic. That's funny to me.
Just trying to start conversations with complete strangers.
Oh, well, that's not what I meant. I just mean like this is the traffic podcast. So it's like when you're in traffic, you listen to the podcast of me in traffic
Ah,
talking
so
to
we're in this
Austin.
together.
Yes, and I'm just like getting mad at the cars, like
Uh,
fucking move,
yeah.
and you can hear me changing lanes, and then the other lane speeds up. I'm an idiot. It's like when I buy stocks and then it falls instantly.
Huh.
This doesn't work. I do it wrong.
That is a cool idea. I think there's a lot of cool podcast ideas. Yeah, some of them are probably viable.
Mhm.
I like the idea of somehow making a podcast work just with the way that you and I naturally have conversations or the way that I naturally do. I guess this worked out pretty nicely though for what it is.
It works.
Yeah.
Mhm. Your shirt has like a lot of stripes on it, but otherwise, it's like
Yeah, I
on
mean,
that.
does knowing that affect the conversation a little bit?
I mean, I just wanted it worked. Other than that,
It has a lot of stripes, but it only has 3 buttons. I can only get so
are
undressed.
you wearing a black shirt?
No, I'm not. It's just the collar for some reason underneath is black
Oh,
here.
I kind of like the collar.
Do I like that? Is the point of that so you can do this and it's black and that has some effect? I don't know. Does that look better?
You, no, it's wait. Do that again. It's V for Vendetta. That's the V.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a V for Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh, it's
Is it
almost
still? It
over.
is. It is almost over.
Yay! So happy.
All right, well, we can call it.
All right, I'm gonna call it now.
Or we're not going to call each other after this, are we? We're both going to call it a night.
Or we're gonna call each other after this or no?
Do you want to or not?
I'm gonna stay up for another 30 minutes. I'm allowed to have a cigarette at midnight.
Okay.
I'm gonna take that.
Okay. God, this looks weird buttoned up all the way.
Yeah,
God, I look like a whole different fucking person.
yeah.
What do I look like? I look like I work at some place.
You look like you work at Wendy's, or you're like one of those weird rappers who like buttons their shirts up all the way. You know what I'm
Maybe.
talking about?
Yeah.
I've seen a few people do that. Hate it.
I don't know, I feel like some kind of character in some weird fairy tale film too.
Yeah, I like that shirt. I do. Looking
Hmm.
around.
I kind of like how this looks. I've grown into this already. Took about 30 seconds, but now I like it.
This is my ultra soft shirt. I'm very proud of this shirt. It's very great.
Hmm.
They're very soft and they have no tags or like the tags are rip off tags. They just have these little, and then they have like little sayings on them, hidden.
The
Like
tags have sayings on them.
there are these little like squares kind of sewn into them like this,
Hmm.
and some of them say shit like move and be moved and like you are what you do, just like shit like that.
I
And
see.
like you're so soft, shirt. Like thank you for saying these things.
Huh.
Makes me feel.
That's cute.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's call it for now, and maybe I'll call you in a few minutes after I don't know, eat an apple. Does that sound all right?
Okay.
Or maybe during.
I'm gonna call you the second we get off.
All right, that's fine.
All right, talking private.